Welcome everybody to another episode of the He's on Fire
He's
podcast.
on fire!
It's been a very, very long time. I'm sorry that's taken so long for us to come back. With Thanksgiving, a happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everybody got to enjoy that with their loved ones and stuff. I had a really good time. I've seen some distant family and all. But we're here to talk about the Suns coming off a really, really big game tonight to even out the series 1-1 against the Utah Jazz. Let's just get into it. Amit, how you doing, man? How's life? I know you're just kicking the flu. That shit's
Yeah.
going around right now. It's been pretty gnarly. How you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm doing well. I'm still a little I'm still coughing up little pieces of my lungs here and there. Of just nasty stuff coming out, but I'm way better than I was. You see right there. Way better than I was a couple days ago, where I was just in bed, like bedridden, just throat dried out, can't breathe through my nose, trying to sleep, and it was rough. But if you haven't gotten a flu shot, I would highly suggest it. I'm the only one in my family that didn't get it, so I got the flu the worst. um just do that if you can, because it will save you. It will save you. And if you have small children like I do and Jay does, it's just
Mm.
good to get it because it protects them. But yeah, man, I mean, Thanksgiving was good. Black Friday, didn't really do any shopping, although we are getting my son a Switch, a Nintendo Switch. I'm getting the
Oh, dope.
LED, the new one. Got to play around with that thing at the mall. It was pretty sick, actually. I'm like excited to get it. And then now that I know like all his friends have it, and then a lot of my friends, like their kids got it across the country. So I figured like this is a way for us to like get on the game, play some Mario Kart, all hang out, sort of thing. So I'm excited for that. But it took us a while to convince my wife to get that thing, because she was just like, we can't get this dude video games. And I'm like, man, I had video games when I was like 5. So it's a motivational tool. You can be like, okay, man, you got to get A's or you don't play this thing. Keep it simple.
Right. What was your first console, man?
Oh, just the original Nintendo. I
Oh,
think I had a
really?
Sega and a Nintendo.
That's dope. Like, I
Yeah.
guess my first official one was the Game Boy, and then I got a PSP. Then I got a
Oh, I had one of those
PS2.
too. But I got one
Yeah,
of those. I got one of those when I was in college, just to like. It was just to something to, on trips and whatever.
right. The PSP
Yeah.
was way ahead of its time. If it came out
Oh
now,
yeah.
I feel like it'll be so popular. It's a
Yeah.
damn shame. Like I sold it to a fucking kid. I just wasn't touching it, and I really regret it.
Yeah.
But I got the
No, I mean
P5
that's
now. It's
essentially
all
what a
good.
Switch is. The Switch is basically like a PSP, like portable,
Yeah.
but then you can hook it up to a TV, and then you could do like multiplayer, split the controller. It's like it's wild, man, the way they made it now. And it's also got motion control, so you can do
Yeah.
like all the motion control stuff with it too. It's pretty dope.
Mhm. Yeah, like me and my girl, we want to get one eventually, just so we can, you know, play some couple games or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's cool, man. Yeah, I know your kid for sure like that. Oh, sorry, but yeah, let's just dive into this game tonight. Then we'll talk about the games previous to this. The last time we talked was that Minnesota game, and coming to now, we lost that to the Jazz a little before this. Coming into tonight, 90s night, it felt like sort of a big game. It had some sort of energy to it, considering how the last couple of games have been. Uh, what were your takes from tonight?
Dude, I mean, I'm so pumped that they won this game. This felt like a not a playoff game, but like a really intense regular season game that you play in like April or March. It's
Right.
like a ESPN Sunday Day game or something. It felt like
Uh,
one of those games. And dude, Utah, like I still think this team, the Utah team, is playing way over their heads.
mm,
I don't think they're as good as they can be, but they were like hitting shots. Like there was a stretch in the fourth quarter where Suns would hit a
we
three, they would hit a
we were
three.
trading.
Suns would get a
Yeah.
3-point play, they would hit a three. Suns would get a 2, they would hit a 3. Like it was just kept going for like at least 3 or 4 minutes. Like every possession, both teams couldn't be stopped. And it wasn't like the Suns weren't trying. It was just a matter of, Torrey Craig goes underneath on Markkanen, who hasn't hit a 3 the whole game, and all of a sudden he hits like 3 in a row. Or like Malik Beasley starts like going off on like the mid range. Like this guy was just all he could do was stand and shoot. Now he's taking things off the dribble and making shots. So it was just, it was one of those games where you're just like, whoever has the ball last is going to win. And luckily the Suns were that team. But going back to the game, I mean, DA, you go on Twitter. I was listening to a Voida's podcast, the Suns Jam podcast.
I was too.
Hey,
yeah.
what's up, Sonia?
So
and I mean, like everybody is throwing flowers at DA right now, and
right.
as they should. And the difference. I was trying to figure out a different take than what everybody else is saying about. Well, he needs to get the ball more. He needs to be more aggressive. This was probably the first time I've seen, maybe since the 2021 playoffs, where he was being officiated like a superstar.
Right.
Like he maybe had like 1 or 2 fouls where he probably those were legit, but he was getting and ones. He was getting the benefit of the doubt on if somebody reached in on the ball low. He was just playing with so much freedom in this offense that it's just a joy to watch, because it's like watching Amari. You know what I mean? Like remember Amari in his prime? It was just like watching that. That's what it felt like. Except he can do a lot more than Amari could. Granted, Amari was probably a better offensive player in terms of he could, he had a more of a handle. He could do things off the dribble. Whereas I think DA is his things are built for the modern game, where it's like he can catch a ball and knows to throw to the corner and make a perfect pass to the corner. Or I think he hit Mikal on a little cut to the rim off the short pick and roll. Like he's just it's two different modern bigs, right? So I don't know, man. I'm just so happy for him. I'm just so happy that this team is coming together this way, because Monty played a lot of abnormal lineups in this game, where you saw like Ish was playing in the fourth quarter. Like that was odd.
That was definitely
right. We didn't see a Koji the whole game. Is it a Koji or a Kogi? Do you know?
I say a Kogi.
Okay, I say a Koji because I heard somebody say that, and I got a bunch of like Nigerian friends, so I'm trying to keep it real for them. I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm gonna keep saying a Koji. That's what I know. So Koji, he didn't play, but when he does play, it's an interesting lineup, because whoever he guards is going to be hell for that guy. Whoever he has to guard, he's going to be in that guy's jersey, like he did to Jordan Poole in that Warriors game, where he just shut him down for like 4 minutes. So I love the idea that we don't have to work with here's the lineup, switch it to the bench unit. It's like, okay, we're just going to play with it. We're just going to continue to play with these lineups, get different people on the court, get Shaman on the court. I know it cut out of Dwayne Washington's minutes, but maybe I think there's 3 guys on the Suns that don't really have value on this team, and these are the guys that are going to be traded. Obviously, Crowder, I think Shamit, and I think Saric. I think those are the guys you package to get somebody else. But what I loved from seeing these different units is that the competitive nature didn't drop off. Their defense was great. Their defensive rebounding and offensive rebounding was awesome. They were in passing lanes, but they just don't have any offense. And so they're relying on like Ish Smith threes from the corner, or, Damian Lee, like just, making a shot like it. And he's really not a 2-point shooter. He's a 3-point shooter. So I still like, even though I love, this is probably the best Suns team we've probably ever had. I'll be honest with you. Like, I know it sounds like premature saying that, but like we were playing, dude, who's the point guard that was backing up?
Wes Sexton?
He was backing up. No, he was backing up Campaign last year.
Oh,
the dude, the trash dude.
Are you talking about Aaron Holiday?
No, he was the good one. He should have got
Yeah.
the minutes. It was the other
Yeah.
guy.
Who was it? Wait,
What's his
I'm
name,
spacing
dude?
here.
He played on the Suns before too. The
Oh,
dude with the wild
Alfred
hair when he
Payton.
first came,
Alfred
Peyton.
Payton.
Peyton, dude.
Yeah.
Peyton, right? Like that guy is even on NBA team this year. Like
No, I don't
for
think
that
so.
for the fact of that matter is Etwan Moore or Langston Galloway on an NBA team this year. That'd be something to look up. So I'm just saying, like Monty's able to maximize the value minus Alfred Payton. Every other player that the Suns have had, he's been able to maximize their value. I'd actually, besides, I would say the other guy he hasn't been able to do that with is with Shamit. He hasn't been
Mhm.
able to get the most out of Shamit that we probably need to make him a consistent rotation player. But everybody else, Jock, Busy, JaVale McGee, Torrey Craig, like he's been able to maximize all their values. And so I'm kind of looking at it and going like, yeah, these second units and these rotational players are great. The defense is great. The hustle's there. They're not willing to back down. They know their role and when to shoot and when not to shoot, but they still need somebody to be like a pick and roll lead or, because Dwayne, if you don't do that, Dwayne Washington is just going to jack up shots, which is fine
Right.
because he can go nuclear or he can not make anything.
He has a
And if
decent shot.
if he
Yeah.
doesn't make anything, then you still need to have somebody like Landry Shamet on the court to play defense because he's a significantly better defensive player. So I love what this team is doing. I think we're playing around with the lineups and we're winning, which is great. I thought this team would win, 55 games this year. I still think that. I think they're going to win more than that. But we need another player. We definitely need another player.
Yeah, I totally agree with. We definitely do need another bucket getter because this Utah team is just covered with them, and we only won by 1 point, and then we lost by 1 point in the
Yeah.
earlier game against Utah. I mean, their whole team is covered with them. But yeah, you brought up Da. Da was absolutely brilliant tonight, and I don't know what flipped in his head or for the team. It might have been that Pat Bev shove that happened, and people were taking Pat Bev's side, which like. Like I don't fucking know how you take Pat Bev's side with that, but I think something flipped in his mind today, and especially with the team and what while watching the game, like and previous games, have you noticed like Booker and Da like dapping it up a lot?
I mean, he's Booker. I mean, he always shows him love, but I feel like it's
Uh,
coming from a different place. Like it's like he's like I don't even know, man. It feels like I don't want to say he's like saying this is who you're supposed to be because I think they always thought that this is what he wanted to be. I think maybe it's just more validation on top of like what they've been doing. But I
right.
agree with you. But going back to the Booker point, I feel like Booker's playing a little different too.
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean,
I mean,
I just feel like he's not assertive when at the times when they need to be.
mm,
And I wonder if he's kind of looking at it and going like, yo, campaign, DA, Mikkel, you guys need to show me that you can do more. Like, let's like all be better. You know what I mean?
mm,
Um, I wonder if that's the case. And all of this is sprung because CP3 has been missing the last 8 games. And this has actually been a perfect opportunity for all these guys to play with each other in these like critical situations and figure it out. And I think Mikhail has figured it out. I think Campaign has definitely figured it out.
yeah,
He just
they'll get
stays in. He
into it.
doesn't have to be CP3. Just be yourself. You don't have to be
Mhm,
CP3. You don't play the same game. Just do what you do. Limit the turnovers. Limit the dumb shots. I'm okay if you miss a couple bank shots or miss a couple like running floaters, but don't take that stupid like wild like okay 1 second shot clock. I'm gonna take a three. You know what I mean? Like
right.
those are the
Yeah.
ones that kill us. Um, and he's doing it. He's limited his turnovers. He's doing all really good. Mikhail has figured it out too because last game he went 0 for 8. He ended up with 15 points at the end of the game, and that was like him just being like, "No, man, I'm not gonna suck. Like I'm going to continue to you know take the shots, the mid range shots, and the corner threes, and the layups, and that's all he has to
Mm,
do is do those three things, right? Nothing else. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the team itself is they're finding these different lineups and gelling in a different way, which I don't think we've seen before with this team. Like we
Mhm.
did in that 2021 season when we had Galloway and um Etuan Moore and a
Utah,
bunch of other
yeah,
different guys, but they're all fringe guys. Like I can see with the lineup that we have, the guys that wouldn't see playoff time are maybe like Dwayne Washington, and that's it. Like I feel like
yeah,
everybody else would find time. Like Okoji is going to find time to get in somebody's shirt. You know,
right.
he can give you 3 minutes. Like if Booker has to sit for 3 minutes, he'll find a way to get in.
Yeah, like what I was getting into with DA is it's funny you mentioned the Amari and stuff because uh, StatMuse put this out after the game. If you don't know, DA went 29 points, 20 rebounds. When was the last time we saw a 20 rebound game? 11 and 18 from the field. First Suns player with a 28-20 game since Amari Stoudemire. Uh, that's a long time since then. But
Yeah,
I mean, Da was absolutely brilliant tonight, and there was a different energy with him tonight. And the reason why I bring up Booker was because in recent memory, I just don't remember seeing Booker and Da like hyping each other up. You know, it was always like Booker hyping up Mikal and these other guys, and Da was hyping up all these other guys. I just never saw Book and Da like high fiving and doing all that shit. But tonight and the last couple of nights, they've been dabbing it up. They've been communicating on defense. That like they've been talking on the sideline and pointing shit out. Like these two together, since Chris has been out, have seemed a lot more like intertwined with each other, and it
yeah,
seems it's like obviously it's worked in our benefit. I mean, we've won 4 or 5 straight at this point, but just the last few games, like these guys have been really like shoulder to shoulder, and I just didn't see that a lot last season or even the season before. I don't know what it was with. It might have been with Chris coming in and kind of changing uh, sort of the landscape of the team and how this offense flows. But since Chris has been out, Da's been able to kind of come out of the shell a bit, and hopefully when Chris comes back, he's still out of that shell. But just the last couple of games, I mean, Da just put up similar stats in both. Uh, like Utah has a lot more bigger players. I mean, he was dealing with Markkinen, Vanderbilt, that other uh, Wildcat. I forget his name, the rookie. Like he had to deal with a lot of size tonight, Kelly Olynyk, and he still held his
yeah,
own. He was owning the paint. His pump fakes were gnarly, and his court vision too. He had some great assists to some cutters
yeah.
to Craig and Mikal. And yeah, let's get into Mikal real quick. Mikal was great from the mid range, dude. He didn't hit 1 3 tonight. All of his points were from inside the arc. Dude was phenomenal. Every time he came in, he put up like 6 points real quick, and then it's straight defense afterwards. Um, since Chris has been out, Book has had to take a lot of the load recently. I mean, we've all seen that. So he hasn't had the most dominating performances since really the last Utah game when he put up that 49 piece.
Yeah.
But it's been as like steady stats for Book of the last week and a half, which I appreciate. This game, he was off and on, but we were
I
keeping
mean,
the
he was
game
bad,
tight.
dude. He was 8 for
Yeah,
27 shooting.
yeah,
And
that
uh,
isn't entirely good.
and he took a couple threes under the last like 3 minutes where I'm like you could have done better than that.
Right.
Um, I mean it's Book, right? Like Book pulls up for 3, that you take that.
Mm,
But I'm just saying like Book from like the elbow jumper is like 90%. Like
right.
that shit's like gold. So, I don't know. Like he did. I don't know what's and so it could be that he's going through a breakup, which is like now known. He broke up with Kendall
Kendall
Jenner.
liked his post today, so
I mean, I'm sure they're friends. Maybe the whole thing was like a thing to like make them more, social media followers. I don't know. Who knows? Like, who knows how these like relationships work in this type of celebrity world? But you know, Book, I've been feeling for the last like week where besides that 49-point game against Utah, where I'm like, this isn't the normal Book. Like he's not. He's kind of like if he gets double teamed, he'll pass it to Campaign, and then he'll just stand in the corner in like the half court, like in the corner over there. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you're not even in the offense. Like you're not trying. Like what are you trying to do? Or like what is your intention here? Are you just trying to get everybody else open? Are you just because he can still do a lot. So by cutting and just being open, but yeah, I mean, Booker's been off, 27 shots to get 27 points. Not a good look for him, but he's not Allen Iverson. He doesn't do that very often. But I think he still had like 10 rebounds or 10 assists, or I can't remember what he had, but he still had a
He has a lot
solid
of
game. And
boards
his
tonight.
defense,
Yeah.
yeah, his defense was solid in this
Yeah.
game.
And that's what separates the boys from the men, like if you're not
Yeah.
banging on, just in shots, I mean, you got to bring the defense, you got to bring the boards, you got to bring the assists, and that's what Booker did tonight. And like it's hard to be your true self when you have like technically kind of like two or three starters out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, or just regular rotation people. So I think Book is overall has been doing a good job, and I think he's really held the floor down really well. Um, yeah, like Utah is coming down to earth a little bit. They're 2-7, like in their last 9 games. Um, I think they're just starting to get figured out at this point. I mean, they have so many studs on that team, and I mean,
Yeah, but they
if
don't
this
have one guy. They don't have one
they
guy.
don't.
That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't have one guy, and it was weird because it was we did such a good job defending Laurie Market in this game. I don't know what changed from this game to now. Maybe he just had that night
No.
where he just couldn't miss a
Dude,
shot. He hit
no, no, no.
a tough
That
shot
last
that last
game,
game.
this guy was in fire, dude, and
Yeah,
fuego.
there was no
This game,
stopping that. And Book played
yeah,
good
this game
defense
was like it
on
was
him in
just
that game.
yeah, we played better defense and he missed the same shots that he was still making in the previous game.
Yeah, like Laurie just he just didn't have the opportunities to put up those shots. He was contested every time, and that's probably the one on this team. Colin Sexton, he's going to drive it every time. He's barely going to shoot it from the outside because he isn't the best behind the arc shooter. But yeah, they just don't have that one guy on the team. And if Markkinen's not bringing it, I mean, it's going to resort in losses. But uh, hopefully a fire sale happens and we can grab one of those guys. I wanted Laurie Markkinen in the offseason. I feel like we could have got him cheap. I thought he would have been a really good four for us, but stuff happens. I'm not gonna harp on it too much. But yeah, the Suns have been rolling as of late. I mean, the last time we talked was the Timberwolves game, but afterwards we had back-to-back losses against the Heat and Magic. That Heat game was kind of bullshit. Really bad officiating in that one. Then we beat the Warriors right after. Then that Jazz game was our last loss, and since then we're on a 4-game win streak, leading the West, by the way, as well. And you got to sit back and think, like we're down Chris, we're down Jay, and our bench unit is practically completely different. And a lot of people counted us out, and a lot of people were throwing some dumb records out with us, like we're going to be out in the playoffs, we're going to be borderline playing. You know, it was just like all the stuff. Da doesn't want to be there and stuff, and literally what everybody was saying has been kind of the exact opposite. We've come and play every night. It's been tough. We've been dealing with adversity. Chris has been out. Jay's been out. Shama just got back in the lineup. Even though like Shama isn't like a big part of this team, like he's still a key rotation player. We've kind of been forced to resort to Dwayne Washington minutes and throwing in the Kogi, uh, whatever. But Even Jacques has been in sort of the doghouse the last couple games. He really hasn't been seeing a lot of minutes, but he was great in tonight with the few minutes that he played. But it's just been really impressive to see what this team has been able to do. And someone brought it up today. I think it was Todd Peterson on Twitter. Like our losses have like added up to like 6 points, and we can easily be 16-2 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
I mean,
so that's pretty insane to think about, you know. And then like what you harp on all the time about the margin of error. I mean, we just had you know uh, bad endings, and we just couldn't close out in some of the games, and just stuff didn't go in our favor. But the like that's gonna change over time, you know, once we get more
no, I mean,
comfortable.
if officiating had been true, then we should have won the Miami game and we should have won that
Hmm.
Blazers game.
Yeah,
There's two wins right there.
the Miami and the Blazers for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so yeah, I mean, it's all over the place. But the thing is, this is the most consistent team in the NBA, other than maybe the Celtics, right? Carrying over
Mhm.
from the previous season. But the NBA is so weird right now. And I don't know if it's like a carryover from like COVID, because like the NFL season has been all weird for the last 2 or 3 years, where just like the things that you predict would happen don't happen. And then there's just like everybody's sort of in the middle because nobody can separate themselves as being elite. And we're kind of seeing that in NBA this year where, I mean, NFL, there's a couple teams that are elite, but literally everybody else is in the middle. And
Right.
with the NBA, it's like it, everybody's in the middle. And because of the Suns' record versus the Celtics' record, or even Milwaukee's record, like we're kind of like in the middle with the rest of the West because I think we're probably like what 2 or 3 games out of like 10th place, even with our record
Yeah,
being
it's really
first.
tight right now.
So it doesn't really matter that much, but it does because if you had those wins, we'd be like further ahead. But it is what it is. Like the fact that the Suns are winning and experimenting with injuries and doing a bunch of stuff, and they don't have players that they can count on, like Crowder, Cam Johnson, or CP3. It's just it's a luxury to be in this position, and then especially when you see Book not playing well the last couple of games, but you're seeing other guys step up. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of room for growth for this team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the West is really tight. You know, there's really no time to like fuck around right now. But the Suns team is rolling, dude. For taking care of business, taking names, and making good memes out of it. Let's just go through the game stats tonight. Mikal was really good tonight. 41 minutes, dude. Practically played the whole game. 16 points. Torrey Craig has been really good as of late. He's been a very good substitute to Cam, filling in defensively and grabbing some pretty timely boards. DA masterclass tonight. I love to see it. Book 27 points tonight, 11 boards, 7 assists. That's a great stat line. Shooting wasn't entirely there, like we mentioned before, but as long as the defense is there and he's doing all the other little things, I mean, it makes up for that. Let's talk about campaign for a minute, dude. Like, is he built to be a starter in the NBA now? Like,
He's an above average starter. He is not like the all-star level point guard that we see in the NBA. NBA is so like littered with like guards now,
uh
or wing players that can play guard, that it's like eh, his value is probably diminished. That's why he has a contract that he has, which is like he's making like 6 million a year or something like that, versus
yeah.
like somebody like Mikal Bridges making like 20, he can't do everything that campaign can do, but he can do enough of it for enough minutes to make it work. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, honestly, like this is like if you're a Suns fan and you're thinking about this team beyond this year and next year, you got to think about who's going to be the starting point guard. How much are you willing to pay that guy?
Hmm.
Campaign is the perfect player for that role.
Hmm.
You got to find somebody to back him up, or you find somebody better and then make him the backup. But the point is that this for the amount that you're paying him, the amount that he's willing to give you, the amount that he's willing to sacrifice, not sacrifice, but let's just say know the limits of his game, right? He's not going to go insane and just start chucking shots or doing like just ridiculous things. And I think that was pretty much what hurt him last year was the down year came from the fact that he wasn't, he was, my opinion is he was trying to be more like level up CP3 and be like, okay, whatever he does, I'm going to do that as a backup role. And it
Mhm.
wasn't working. If you just play your role, bro, just do what you do, you're good. You're really good. You're above average starting point guard in the NBA, but you're not an all-star player, but you're surrounded by other guys. I mean, imagine if he's out there with Cam Johnson, because I don't think we saw that lineup where it's campaign and those four guys, right?
Mhm.
That could be the future starting lineup for this team.
Yeah.
So, if that's a lineup, that's a death lineup.
Yeah, like we're treading towards that because campaign's been absolutely brilliant. The last
Yeah.
6, 7 games, he's really been kind of like the saving hero. Uh, like just as of late, I mean, he like he's hitting those contested threes. He's been like kissing the ball off the glass. Like I think last season, I think he just got figured out and he was in everybody's scouting report and they just always had a plan for him. And campaign and Monty and the rest of the crew have said that campaign was watching nonstop film. Yeah, he was like in the lab, figuring a lot of things out. I've noticed with him when he's driving, he makes sure the guy bites on his crossover, then he
Yeah.
fucking takes it. And like last season, like he did not have that at all. Like he wasn't waiting for the defender to bite on his crossover or his hezzy. He was just going, and he like people were just flooding him like at the paint. But
Yeah.
as of late, like he waits for the defender to bite, hits him a couple times, and he takes it, and he's wide open just about every single time, and he's hitting those floaters from the baseline. He's been hitting those threes. He's been great, and he's done a brilliant job filling this rollout. And him and Buck and Da together have been really nice to watch. And I just want to make sure that we talked about campaign because he's been
Oh, for sure.
phenomenal. Yeah.
What do you,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, he's been playing. I mean, this is what we always wanted from him. This is like this was the, the realized potential of campaign was this guy that we're seeing, which is he's averaging 18, I think it's like 18 and 6 or something
yeah.
on really good percentages. Like that, I mean, that's all-star starting. I mean, not all-star, that's like starting point guard numbers. You know what I mean? But I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think so far of Okogie and Damian Lee?
So when we signed Damian Lee, I was actually pretty happy about that. Some veteran presence, and when he was on Golden State, I knew he was a system guy, and I think we have a pretty good system here. So incorporating Damian Lee, I didn't think he would be sort of like the clutch guy that we have because this dude
Yeah.
feels like he's like 100% in clutch time situations
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like our
I mean,
50-50
I
balls.
I got to go and look at the stats, but I'm pretty sure he's hit a 3-pointer in the fourth quarter of every game this season.
Yeah. Like especially in crunch time, I think crunch time is like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like he always hits one within that time. But no, he's chippy. He gets in your face. His defense is pretty solid, and he knows his role, and he does his role very well. And he's been really good, uh, especially with Shannon being out. So he's been a really good presence on this team, and I love when he just picks up a tech just for fucking with players. Like he got in Anthony
Yeah.
Davis's face right when he checked in, and he's just like, "I'm here. I'm just letting you know." And then with Akogi, this dude's hands are insane. Like his defense
Yeah.
is so much better than I thought it was. So it was not the Detroit game, but the game before. I forget what it was. So Torrey Craig, Mikhail, and Okogie were out on the floor together, and then it was Book and Payne. So it was a small ball lineup. They ran it for just like 3 minutes, but dude, no one was able to get a shot. I think there was like 3 or 4 basically shot clock violations like in a row.
Yeah.
Whatever team that was, I think it was the Lakers, but
Was it? Yeah, I think you're right. I'm thinking
yeah,
of the Warriors game, but I think you're right.
yeah, I think it was the Lakers game, but yeah, that lineup was absolutely insane. That's not something you throw out every game, but like just a Kogi's defense and he has Drew Holiday hands. Like he snatches the
Yeah.
ball. He knows when to tap it. Like he's insane. I mean that three. Hopefully, he like that starts falling. Maybe one a game possibly if we keep him in the normal rotation. I'm not depending too hard on it. Like Okogi's that dog that you got that's on a leash ready to like fucking bite you, and like Monty just basically
Yeah.
just pops the leash off. Like just go defend the hottest guy right now. And I mean
And I
he
was
does
surprised
it.
that we didn't see him in this game because
Yeah,
I thought
same.
he would
Yeah,
be
especially with Colin.
I thought he'd be the perfect guy to put on Clarkson,
You're right.
you
Yeah,
know?
Clarkson too. Like Clarkson had a quiet 20 points or whatever he had. It just didn't seem like he was putting up those shots, but I looked at the game stats. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, I didn't know he had that much, but yeah, especially
No,
with
I mean,
Clarkson. Yeah.
so going back to Koji, like that Warriors game. So we
He was
went out with I can't remember the line. It was Lee, Biombo,
great in that.
maybe Torrey Craig, Dwayne Washington Jr., and Koji. And I think Monty knew he's like, we're not going to score a lot of points with this lineup, but guess what? You are not going to score a lot of points. And so he put a Koji inside of Jordan Poole's jersey, and he
Yeah,
just ruined that guy. And it was so fun to watch
he put
because
up two
I hate
points,
Jordan
dude.
Poole. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he stripped him. He had a bunch. I mean, it was just so fun to watch him. It's like yeah, it's like I mean, it's I don't know how to put it in a way that's nice, but it's like he put a pit bull on top of like a rat terrier, and it was just like I'm just gonna
You-
eat this motherfucker.
like that fucking dog from Stand By Me, the one in the junkyard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that dog or Cujo. Maybe instead of a Koji, we call this guy Cujo because
And you know what's funny is like I'm okay if you put him out there and he gets like 2 fouls quick because
right, yeah,
just let him do like let the refs figure out like what level they want to let him play.
hmm
But like, dude, if you watch that guy in the play, if they let him play in the playoffs, he's gonna be a menace because you could just put him in there for 2 or 3 minutes here and there, right? Put him on
he's our
Steph,
Gary
put him on
Payton.
Clay, put him on Poole,
Yeah,
put him on Jamal Murray. Like he's gonna wreck these guys.
yeah,
That guy is like he's a different type of defensive player.
hmm and
He
with
gets
him and
block
Mikhail on
shots.
the
He
floor,
follows
dude.
it all the way to the rim and gets blocks. Like
Yeah,
he's different.
dude's everywhere, man. Like he was, like Book in the Golden State game was kind of bailing on defensive assignments, sort of on purpose because he knew Okogie was right there and he'll pick up the slack,
Yeah,
so Book can go for the cherry pick. But yeah, like Okogie's insane defensively. I really didn't know much about this guy when we acquired him. I know we got him from Minnesota and all, and I remember the couple games last season and he only played a couple minutes, but those stretches, like we didn't score, and I didn't realize it was because of Kogi. But obviously we're using him right. He's the fire extinguisher and like in the glass case. It's just like if we need
yeah,
to shut somebody down, I mean that's the guy you throw out there with McKell,
yeah.
with Torrey Craig, and then some bucket getters. Because with that, I mean, like what can he do? And and after you said like this might be one of the better Suns teams that we've seen or the best, as these games progress, I'm like, and we're winning like this and handling business and we're doing more with less. I'm gonna start leaning towards that. I mean, the team that we had last season was very impressive, especially with JaVale being our backup center. But like with Shamit not being what we wanted, and Damian Lee coming in, it's helped tremendously. And then Jacques is a smarter JaVale. and
Yeah.
he doesn't make as many dumb decisions. The only dumb decisions that Jacques does is shooting every time he gets the ball, especially from behind the
No,
arc. And
no
so that's why I
threes.
think
No threes, dude.
that's
No.
why I think he hasn't played the last couple of games because Monty's like, Stop taking those." But
Well, you know what's the craziest thing is that all these guys that we play against, those guys shoot Jock Landale numbers, and then that guy, Nickeil Alexander Walker, had only hit 4 threes the entire season. He hit 4 in this game by
yeah,
itself.
he was shooting
I
rainbows,
mean,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, they were
Malik
like
Beasley, like
Malik
he hit
Beasley.
10 threes or something against us in the first game. This game, this guy's just said, you know what? I'm just gonna take it off the dribble. I'm just show you the whole range. And nobody has ever seen that guy play like that before. Um, so we always get that, dude. Even against the Lakers. Actually, no, Lakers, they didn't shoot the threes that well. But
Yeah, no, it wasn't falling that game.
there's a I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like we always face these opponents where all of a sudden, like, their worst player has their best game.
Right. Yeah, that's always our case.
Yeah.
Fucking Jose Alvarado is a big
Yeah.
example of that. Or uh, I wouldn't say Terrence Mann from the Clippers is their worst player, but it's not a guy that you count on making shots. And that was the biggest problem, like in our finals run was fucking Terrence Mann. Um,
I would challenge that because I remember when they played Utah and they would
oh,
go 5 out and he would get manned up on Gobert and he was just burying threes in Gobert's face. And I think he was a rookie that year too.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, right. He doesn't get consistent minutes with this team, with the Clippers
mm.
team as they are constructed now, with all the wings that they have. But I think Terrence Mann's a really good player. In fact,
I think
maybe
he's
that's the
really
guy
good.
we can get.
Yeah, like I really like Terrence Mann. I'm not trying to diss the guy, but it's just not like Terrence Mann doesn't come up in the game plan. It's like Kawhi if he's playing,
Yeah,
Paul George if he's healthy. Then you gotta worry about Nicholas Batum and Luke Kennard, and they got Rocco out there. I mean, like you go down that list. Reggie Jackson if he's starting, John Wall too. Like Terrence Mann is kind of like just like there. He just like
yeah.
like he's just at the bottom of the depth chart, even though like he gets the minutes, but it's just not a guy that you really shout
Like
out
if
for.
Terrence Mann could get on a squad, like he could probably get you like 17, 18 a game at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I like Terrence Mann. Like he's a dog.
Yeah.
Sonia asked us a little bit earlier. Y'all think DA is going to get a triple double on Monday? So on Monday we play the Sacramento Kings, and Sacramento's been on a good run recently. Uh, they've been playing actually really well. I really like their team. Sabonis, I don't know how well he's doing right now. De'Aaron Fox, we're fans of him on this pod. And then Davion Mitchell. I mean, I wish we had that guy. That guy's great. And then
Well,
Harrison
he's our
Barnes
Koji.
too.
He's
Yeah,
our Koji.
he's our coach. Yeah, Davion Mitchell like has a God like if Davion Mitchell had like a Kogi's like defense, the dude would be an all star, no question. Or like and Coda said right here, like if a Kogi had a lick of offense, the dude would be an all star. uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we play the Kings. I don't really know much about their bench. Oh, now they have Kevin Herter. So now they have a 3-point presence along with Harrison Barnes and a couple of other pieces. I think we could win it triple double. I mean, they don't really have size like that. Do they still have Rashawn Holmes? Let me look real quick.
That's a good question. While you're bringing that up, I'll just say this. So Sabonis has been playing out of his mind, and so we're talking about. So there's a couple of factors going into this game. One is the Suns are. This is going to be their third game in 4 days, right?
uh,
So how tired are these guys going to be going into this game? That's one. Two is Sabonis was almost traded for Ayton.
right.
Now, if Ayton has been playing like this for whatever reason, if he has any motivation to go ham, it's going to be this game.
Yeah,
So,
Rashawn Holmes is still on the team. Yeah.
so I would say Ayton getting a triple double is not likely because he's going to take every shot that he gets. So I'm going to say a 30-20 game is way more likely than a triple double.
Man, if Da gets triple double, win or loss, I think he's turned a corner. Like you're
Yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
Rashawn Holmes, dude is a pesky guy, and that little floater he has is like money every time. And then you're dealing with
Yeah.
Sabonis, one of the most offensively sort of gifted big guys in the league right now. And like the Sacramento team is pretty stacked right now. They have Malik Monk as well, and Keegan Murray. I'm a big Keegan Murray guy. But
He's good. He's good.
yeah, like yeah, I mean this Sac team is the best I've seen since like the early 2000s. So the fucking BB
No,
two. So
I mean,
uh,
excuse me.
we'll
Yeah.
see, man.
We'll see.
But
They were. I think they were on a like a 7-game winning streak before they lost. I think to the Celtics or the Warriors or
uh,
somebody. Somebody. I don't know
let
who
me
it
see.
was. But they've turned it around. They found their offense. They found a way for De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis to click, and Sabonis is actually putting up better numbers over the season than Da is right now.
Yeah,
So this is going to be a perfect challenge for him. Um, And again, I'm going to mention the foul trouble thing. Like, we'll see how they officiate him or officiate Sabonis because I feel like Sabonis gets away with a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
The sack games are usually not officiated well.
yeah,
We've had history with that. Yeah.
what I mean is there any team where we get officiated well against though? And I know it
No,
sounds so
no,
biased, but like there has to be maybe like the Magic is a good. I don't know, like the Magic.
no.
We're like
The
okay,
officiating was bad that game. Um,
yeah, but
I
we
don't
still
know.
suck though.
Maybe the Nuggets. Like
Yeah, okay,
usually the
Nuggets is
Nuggets
a good
games are
one.
pretty
Actually,
fun.
that's a good
Yeah,
point. That's a good point because like
yeah,
um Jokic doesn't get away with shit on DA.
yeah,
And then Michael Porter doesn't get his bullshit. Um,
mm,
CP3 gets a lot of calls
yeah,
against the Nuggets. Yeah, maybe that's the only one.
yeah. Yeah, the Nuggets is the only one that comes to mind. I mean, I would have said Philly like a couple weeks ago, but that Philly game pissed me off, dude.
No,
Fucking
dude.
Joel.
Joel Embiid gets everything. And the thing is, and shouts to Jordan on Twitter, one of the Suns fans. Him and I were talking about it because I'm seeing the same thing that Jordan saw is that Joel Embiid, he he's very physical, granted, but on top of that, he does a lot of unnatural motions where he tries to get foul calls, and then what
Right.
happens is he gets hurt all the time. And
Mhm.
I would say the same thing about Anthony Davis. Like these guys are trying to hunt fouls when they're just big, tall, physical guys. Like just go up and down and play your normal game. Why are you trying to get hurt? Why are you always on the floor? You know? And
Mhm.
so I just think that Embiid he gets officiated like he's Shaq, but then he also does a lot of shit that is unnecessary where he probably would get the call or he doesn't need to do that shit. Or if he just did like a normal shot rather than like, let me just go underneath and hook it and grab this guy's arm and fall on my back and get my, you know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
unnecessary.
Yeah, like I've never been into like the foul baiting shit. Like especially as a big guy because like your whole role is to go up strong and finish strong, and you're affecting your shot when you're trying to bait yourself into getting a foul. So you're basically kind of taking like 90% of the touch that you put on that shot into like the foul that you're probably not going to get unless if you're superstar status like Embiid, you're going to get it every single time, especially if you yell and all that shit. Yeah, as a big like when you're foul baiting, it's kind of dumb because like if you're big enough, if you're strong enough, and if you have that post up game, like no one's going to be able to defend you. So like if you go up strong, they're going to do whatever it takes for you to not get that and one,
Yeah.
and they're going to like tackle you and do all that shit. So like it's better to go up strong and do all that shit than like to try to bait fouls as a big guy. That's why I like I'm a like why I like Da so much is because he doesn't try to foul bait. He doesn't do like a pump fake lean in. Like he's gonna go up, you know. And like Kelly Olynyk did that shit today. He tried to like foul bait a bunch, and I was like, yeah, I'm not with that shit. Uh, like with guards, it's different. I mean, it's a whole fucking skill set you gotta learn. But closing thoughts with the Suns. I mean, they're rolling right now. Like hopefully we continue this win streak. We beat the Kings tomorrow or Monday. Hopefully that happens. But I'm hoping that Chris's injury isn't too serious. Part of me thinks that the Suns are playing pretty decent right now. We don't exactly need them to come back right away. Better to you know have him sitting and all that. The way that the night that he got injured, it wasn't taken too seriously. So I don't think it
Yeah.
was necessarily a serious injury. So I think he's just been out just because we haven't necessarily needed him out of desperation. And plus, I think we're kind of playing the field to see like who's on the chopping block, who's gonna stay around and stuff. And
Yeah.
these 7, 8 games have been a real nice sampler and stuff. I think we're in a pretty good position right now. But the Suns are rolling, and I couldn't be happier right now. And just hopefully we keep on winning and nobody else gets injured because that's the last thing this team needs right now. Hopefully Da gets a triple double on Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think everything that you're saying, I'm the more that I um start to think about Chris Paul and like why he's missing all these games and why they're so shady about what they're saying on the injury. And a lot of people are speculating that it's like a Achilles injury,
Hmm.
which is fine because if you do it at the right time and you do the proper medical healing for that process, you can do it. Because if you remember, like um, when KD got his Achilles, like it looked like he got that shit like 2 games before that game.
Right.
Like, and then all of a sudden it just popped, and it was just like, okay, he's fucked. Because I remember everyone's like, something happened with his calf. And it's like, yeah, it's a calf. It's the upper part of the ankle.
You
It's like
saw
all
it
that
pop.
region. Like that's
Oh,
yeah. It's like it's
yeah.
it's leading to a bigger injury. So you
Hmm.
have to rehab all that shit. And the Warriors were like forcing him to play. There's all been all sorts of stories about that on the Athletic and ESPN covering all that stuff. But I think it's right. I think it's good because, like you said, we're testing this team. We're pressure testing this team against good teams like Utah now, two games, Portland twice. Um,
3 times actually.
against other opponents, we'll see who
We played Portland 3 times.
or Portland 3 times. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I only remember the losses.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great spot, and I think we're seeing that campaign can be trusted. As he
Huge.
should be, as he
Yeah.
was in the Western Conference Finals. Um, we're figuring out this team, and the fucked up part is that we're still going to make a move, and we're going to lose some of these guys.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's not the guys that are playing right now. Like I said, I think the 3 guys that you can move that have no impact on this team are Saric, Shamit, and Jay Crowder. And
Hmm.
then that combined money, 20, I think is about what I think it's like 25, 30 million. I know it's
Hmm.
30 million for sure. It's 30 million because Sarge is making 9. So we're talking
Yeah.
about $30 million that you can move to get something.
And
And
picks.
then guess what? Maybe you can actually move it for a smaller piece and get a first round pick back too.
Right.
Who knows? There's a lot of moves that can be made. I just hope that we do it sooner than later, because the chemistry is building on this team, and the fact that if we have to move guys around and bring new guys in and build that chemistry again is going to be harder.
Hmm.
Um, but dude, the team is humming right now, and I just want to see Book play better because I don't know if it's about his breakup, if he's tired, if he's just kind of watching other players and seeing what they're doing because he already knows what he can do at any given time. But when we needed him tonight, the guy missed like 3 or 4 shots that could have just ended the game. He missed 2 threes. He missed a pull up um, in the last like 3 minutes of the game. So I just want to see him at that same level that we're seeing like a Jason Tatum or these other guys.
Mm. Yeah, Coda brought it up here. We're just waiting for the deadline right now. I mean, the deadline January 15th, and if this is the turn of the corner for DA right now, putting up these stats, and we start going through him a lot more right now, I think he's going to be perfectly fine being here. I mean, like that's kind of the biggest question mark with this team right now. I mean, if you ask me, I think he's good. I like I don't I just don't see him leaving at this point. But I mean, it's up to him if he wants to go. Um,
Yeah, he
I
has
could,
a no trade clause. He has a
yeah,
no
yes,
trade clause. So
he has a
anywhere
no
that
trade clause,
he
and then
would
he
want
has
to
to say
go,
where he wants to go. You know,
yep, yeah,
so that's the biggest question for this team's future right now going forward. But Da's looked fine. I mean, he looks healthier now. I mean, I feel like that ankle sprain lingered a lot longer than it should have. Uh, but the last 3-4 games, he's been humming. And with these pieces, I like we have the opportunity to dump some expiring contracts, give up some picks, and really play with the money a bit. And we can definitely bring back another bucket getter or make a little bigger move and stuff. Um, uh, Hopefully we do that. I don't think James Jones is going to be sitting on his hands when it comes to the trade deadline. The last couple seasons, I mean, he's kind of banged on every signing he's gotten, especially cash consideration players like Jacques or Aaron Holiday, and then Torrey Craig was kind of
yeah.
just out of the blue sort of guy. But I think we're definitely going to make a move. When it is, it's probably going to be day of. So hopefully Da feels comfortable and just just being there, and I want him to stay. If we get this Da or even 70% of this Da that we saw tonight, like stay here, dude. You're more than welcome to be here, and I hope he feels the same way too. But let's transition into the Arizona Cardinals before we get out of here, and then you have some Andor stuff to get into. The Arizona Cardinals, we lost against the Niners. We got our asses kicked. Colt McCoy was in as QB. We're playing at in Mexico City, and this 49ers team beat a very dysfunctional team. I'm not going to put too much weight into the 49ers win and through their perspective. But we released Benjamin for whatever reason. Uh, then shortly after the game, we released Sean Kugler, the lineman coach, and I guess he was doing some shit in Mexico City, like groping or whatever. And then when Hard Knocks comes out, they on the PHNX Cardinals with Johnny Venerable and Bo Brock, they had the film director of Hard Knocks on, and uh, he said that there was going to be footage of the whole Enu thing, and then when the episode came out, it was nothing like that. And so I know Bidwell and Kime and Cliff or like whoever the fuck like changed up the narrative and really kind of threw things underneath the rug. Going into tomorrow, we're playing against the Chargers. The Chargers have been kind of a disappointment this season. Our season is essentially over. The Chargers are playing for their season right now. They're still kind of like in the running in the AFC, but um, Marquise Brown is coming back. This is going to be the first time that we're going to have Kyler, Brown, and D Hop on the field together, and pair that along with Robbie Anderson if you can figure it out, or we can incorporate him.
That guy hasn't played anything. The guy's doing
Yeah,
shit.
he's played maybe like 10% of snaps in the last like 3 or 4 games, but
I mean,
I don't have faith with this team going forward. I mean, even if we win out the rest of the season, I mean, I don't even think we'll get the last playoff seeding. So I'm just going to be watching to see how this offense functions with Brown and D Hop, and hopefully Kyler is you know like at
But
least
how can you make an
90%.
honest assessment?
Yeah,
How can you make an honest assessment on this team when the offensive line has 4 of their starters on injured reserve?
yeah.
Like you can't,
That's really the story
you know?
here. It's like the whole offensive line is gone. Like Hudson's gone, Justin Pugh's gone. I think DJ Humphries was put
He,
into
yeah,
IR. Uh,
yeah,
so it's just and then Max Garcia is gone too. So
yeah,
we're dealing with Billy Price that fucks up these snaps, and then Josh Jones out playing out of position again. Which as soon as you
yeah.
move him, the dude's awful.
I mean,
And yeah, so
the whole thing is a tire fire. The whole thing is a fucking tire fire in Somalia, just burning up. And there's nothing like we can wish for this offense to put up like 47 points or something and they win, right?
uh,
But like I mean maybe that's possible, but they're all going to be like screen passes because the offensive line's not going to create any room. And then I'm still trying to figure out at this point in Kyler's career where he always has a hamstring problem. It's just like every season there's a hamstring problem or something.
yeah,
Um, and then on top of that, I mean, I love the defense, but the defensive line is so bad on this team.
yeah,
A
yeah.
defensive line that has JJ Watt, but still sucks. You know what I mean? Where's Marcus Golden? Where has he been this whole season? He has done nothing this season.
Nothing.
Zach Allen, these guys make plays, and you're like, oh, they made plays. But yeah, those are the games where we won. I never hear about like these guys. Well, they played really good in this game where we lost. You know what I mean? It's always they made a play in a game that we won. So the defensive line is crap. We never addressed Chandler Jones and getting another pass rusher. JJ Watt is not a pass rusher because even though he does get pressures and sacks, he's just not that good. I'm afraid. I mean, it is what it is, and maybe it's because of scheme and they double team him because there's nobody else on the other side to go
It's
after.
mostly double
Uh,
teams. It's mostly double teams. Yeah,
it's a lot of double teams, but there's a lot of games too where like I never hear his name called. I'm like, did he even play in this game? I want to say it was the game before the Rams game, where I'm like, did JJ Watt play in that game?
right. Yeah,
Like I don't remember. Um, so the Cardinals season mathematically they're still in it. So
yeah.
assuming somehow they won out and some other teams lost, we really needed the Giants or the Niners to lose the last game, which they didn't. And um, before the Cardinals game, but dude, I was watching that game and I'm watching the execution of Jimmy Garoppolo and Colt McCoy, and I'm like, these are the same guy. The difference
Hmm.
is like one guy has all his players in his offensive line and a scheme, and the other guy is just throwing screen passes. But they're
Hmm.
literally the same guy. Like they're
Yeah,
all throwing screen passes. That's all they're doing.
yeah.
Like Jimmy G has been reduced down to, you know,
Basic.
like basic. He's basic,
Yeah,
dude. He's less than
yeah.
basic. So
He's a cookie cutter like bad in QB. It's like it's straight
yeah,
scheme. Like
yeah,
it's so blatant, and this is like the first time in a long time that the Niners have been this healthy. So I mean, I wasn't really surprised that we got our backs blown out, but at the same time, Jimmy G. I know he led y'all to a Super Bowl, but I just don't know if he's gonna do it. But Sonia has this question right here, a random question. Since you're a Suns fan living in Cali, do you get a lot of shit for wearing Suns gear?
You know what's funny? So I played on Thanksgiving actually. One of my friends that I just met, he asked me to come play basketball with him at the Los Angeles Athletic Club, which is like this like little fancy club in downtown LA. It's like a 6-story building, basketball courts on the 6th court. I go up there, I'm in my son's um 80 shorts, so they're like the purple with the neon orange, and it has like the little sun thing on the with suns on the side.
Hmm.
So I'm talking to this guy and he goes, because he's like, he's a Laker. He was wearing his Laker shorts. So he's like, you from Phoenix, right? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're just talking and whatever. We actually ended up being on the same team. We won 4 games in a row. But
Dope.
before all that, like before we knew each other, he's just like, you know what? You know that like you know what's the problem with the Suns is they stopped making that jersey, that sunburst jersey. Because that is the best jersey in basketball.
Mm.
That blew my mind to hear that from a Lakers
A
fan.
Lakers fan said.
That and I told him like, no, you're right. Like that's the perfect jersey. It always has been. And I'm surprised that I mean, a lot of people outside of Suns fans know that shit, but it's the real ones that are be like, yeah, man, we know like that shit is the goat. That's the goat
Mm.
jersey. So it was surprising to hear that from him. I mean, he wasn't like a hater. I mean, I wear Sun stuff, and I don't. People are pretty cool for the most part. In fact, I hear more people that are like either not from LA or like not like Lakers fans. They're like, "Yo, man, I respect the Suns." Blah blah blah. Lakers fans. I mean, I'm just going off the last like 3 years. I mean, they can't really say anything to me. Like, what can you say when we own you? When Devin
Right.
Booker is literally the owner of Crypto.com Arena. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't really say anything
He
to me.
has stock in
Clippers or Lakers fans.
Crypto.com Stadium, bro.
Yeah. Staples Center, whatever you want to call it. It's Devin Booker Arena. That's what we're going to call it from now on.
It's his
DB Arena.
vacation home.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, that was great. Beating both LA teams like in the playoffs, dude.
Oh,
Oh god, dude,
oh
like
man, we were talking so much shit in the
that
streets
was
after
worth
that
a
game.
chip, honestly. Like anybody from Phoenix knows, like the fucking Kobe time, dude. Like we just could
Yeah.
not win, dude. Like especially that buzzer beater off that inbounds pass. You remember that shit, dude?
Yeah.
If that isn't a gut punch, I don't know what is. And like I
I
wasn't
mean,
even
and
like
look,
a bit.
dude, I mean, I've been going to games for a long time here, and like, I remember when the Clippers had CP3 and DeAndre Jordan and the whole group, and
Yeah,
like just
Lob
getting
City.
spanked by those guys. And
Yeah,
but there was so many Suns fans that would show up for that game, like 30 because Clippers don't have fans, so we would at least have like 40% of the arena would be Suns fans still, even though we're getting our fucking brains blown in.
right.
And to go there back there in the playoffs in a was it game five, win that game, and then half like at least half the arena is Suns fans. And not only that, like our drip, like this drip is so much better than what the Clippers have. Like
Yeah.
Clippers are like red, white, and blue with the fucking like unicorn or whatever the fuck their logo is. Like our shit is so much fire than that. So much.
Hmm.
I mean, everything. Not even the jerseys. I'm talking about people showing up. Like I saw a homie and he had like a Tama Bahama jersey with like a Suns logos all over it. Like
Oh,
I
that's
saw
dope.
people just like their own shit that they brought. Like it's so much better than what the Clippers can do. Even the Lakers. Like I'm not honestly the Lakers have like the purple and gold thing, but the purple's the wrong color. The gold's not orange. I mean, it sucks. So what am I say?
Yeah, yeah. Like after I saw the turquoise jerseys and stuff like on the players and along with the court and stuff, I think the Suns by far have the best like jersey rotation. Like the statement jerseys are really nice with the gradient and stuff. I mean, if you want to include the Valley jerseys in that too, I mean, everyone was on board, even fucking Suns haters. They were like, "Yeah, this jersey's clean." So like, our jerseys the last like few seasons have been top notch, and I miss
I
the low Suns ones that we had, the black and then the
yes,
all purple one,
yes.
and
The all
then
black
those
or the
those
other Low
'70s
Suns one that
Phoenix
had the
jerseys.
multiple purples.
Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah,
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 yeah. They had like two
like
or three purples. I mean, I think our jerseys are the best. Like I know it sounds biased, but like, please, somebody in the chat tell me that has a better like repertoire of jerseys than the Suns. I I mean, I can tell you the teams that don't. Like Celtics don't. Celtics suck, dude. They have nothing.
Yeah,
It's the same
Celtics is
shit.
so bland, dude. I mean, I like this new one that they just released. I mean, it's a darker green. The gold is a little bit shinier. Like it's nice. And like the black, sort of like border. It's a lot different than the previous ones. I like this one a lot more, but God, like just change it up. The Pistons
Like the
now.
Bulls. Can the Bulls
Like
make a new jersey? The Bulls need to make a new jersey.
the uniforms they just came out with the Bulls. If they put like the pinstripe on it, it would have been like top three, but it just looks so bland. The
I
Pistons
haven't
only
seen it, but
have a retro. I can pull it up
yeah,
real
but I
quick.
feel like they still keep rocking the same Jordan jersey.
Yeah, it's like you change it up a bit, like
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I think
but
Milwaukee has some cool jerseys. Milwaukee has some cool jerseys. Um, the Sixers have the potential. If they went into their bag, dude, they could have some crazy shit if the Sixers won it. Because all those Iverson jerseys, the gold, the black, the blue, the red, like they had everything. If you just mix it up with like the new style and the old style and everything, they could do some
mhm.
really cool stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they bring back the black the Iverson jerseys,
They're I
or they're
think I
planning on
saw
it?
something like where like Joel Embiid was saying like, "Oh, this is gonna be sick." Like it was like a reaction video and he was talking about it,
Uh huh.
but I don't know if it's like this season.
They should have did this season, dude.
Yeah.
Here I found this Chicago Bull one. I'll show you right now. It's this one right here. It's this one.
Yeah.
Like
See.
it's not bad, but if they put like black pinstripes in it, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I
What do
didn't
the
even notice the
shorts look like?
pattern in
Can you
them.
see the shorts?
Uh, no, fucking.
Okay.
Uh, the shorts are basically the same. Like there isn't really anything special with them.
I mean, I look at that and I go, like, that's what the Suns do with like the PHX jersey, right?
Right,
Like
right.
we just keep fucking with that one PHX jersey and keep making it look doper and doper and doper. That's just
Mhm.
one jersey. That's not like even like the original. That's not like the retro. That's not the city edition. What do they call this one? This is the turquoise is what? Is that
That's the city edition.
okay.
Yeah.
What is the one with the all black with the PHX?
That's the statement.
Statement. Okay. And that
Yeah.
replaced the orange ones that we had, right?
The statement replaced the Valley jersey, if you want to think about it that way.
Okay.
We still have the orange in rotation, I believe.
Do we? Okay. I'm
I
cool with
think
that. I
so.
love the orange
Yeah.
ones. In fact, we had a
I,
really good
I don't
winning
mind the
record in
orange
those.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love the
mind the
orange
orange
ones.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the all black with the red pinstripe. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, the old Chicago Bulls jerseys, man, like you can't
Yeah,
go
that's
wrong.
fine. Look, I love those jerseys, but like I don't want to see those like the consistent jerseys in 2022.
Oh wait, no
That's
orange
what
anymore? Okay, I guess no orange anymore. I feel like we saw orange this year.
I thought. I thought this one replaced the orange one.
It probably did. It probably did. Oh man, I
Yeah.
better cop one of those orange ones then. I mean, that was
Yeah.
our like one of our finals jerseys. But closing thoughts on the Cardinals. I mean, mathematically, like you said, we're still in it. Maybe we do turn the tide. Maybe Cliff gets his shit together. I don't know. But did you see that champagne like that champagne shit?
I mean,
It's it's
I
literally
really
between
think
these
it's
two teams right here.
that's fine, dude. I think it's really unprofessional if it's true that he's like saying like I'd like to coach that team because I know that coaches aren't supposed to do that. That's part of like their brotherhood to not just be
Yeah,
like, oh, I want to plan to
Rubio.
coach
Yeah,
this team next year before the
that's
season's
Rubio.
even over. We have like 6 games left. We have a fucking shit ton of games left in the season.
Yeah,
So it's
we still
wild
have
to
our
be
bye
like, oh, I
week
want
too.
to coach that team next year. You know, um, I mean, we'll see where it goes, man. I mean, I'm glad that this game is not in LA because I probably would have been going to this game on
Mhm.
Sunday, and I'm just glad I'm not because even though I am undefeated in SoFi, I
Yeah, yeah.
don't want to take my chances.
Yeah, yeah. Like every game we've gone to so far since we've been doing the pod, like we've won. So that's we should have went to
Yeah,
that playoff game last season, but
yeah, yeah.
um, but man, I miss Rubio. Like, man, like like Rubio and Payne together would be dope. Or if we still had Chris on the chart or whatever. But the Cardinals, like ho- hopefully the tide turns, but I don't have much faith in it. I'll still keep on watching Hard Knocks because I do like what they do, but I it just rubbed me off the wrong way that everyone was waiting for something and they said that they were going to do said thing and then they totally changed it, and it just reminded me just like how cable TV and radio are now. It's just like controlling the narrative and all this shit. I'm just not with that. And like Cardinals have a lot of things going on right now, and I want it displayed. I want what's going on being displayed, and when you go out of your way not to air it, it just bothers me. So um hopefully we win. But I think the Chargers are dealing with some injuries right now. They're not what they are. Um, what to be expected from them. I mean, the AFC West has been pretty trash this year. Like everyone thought it was going to be a fucking gauntlet, even me. But I think we could win it, and we're at home, and hopefully we take care of business. But any closing thoughts on the Cardinals?
I'm good. We
Yeah,
talked about them.
I'm good. Oh, I was thinking about getting a Darnell Dockett jersey to throw in here.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I always liked him. He's a Florida State guy. He's one of my guys.
dude on the Gator.
People don't know I'm a Florida State football fan, and just I can explain that story in another pod some other time.
Really?
But
You're a FSU fan?
yeah,
Wow. All
I'll
right.
tell that. I
That's
have to
good.
explain that story. No, we talked about this. I never told the full story, but I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. We'll do it during bowl season. I'll
Okay.
like drop the whole story.
Yeah.
Um. Anyways, yeah. I mean, Dockett. He left the Cardinals in a bad way, and then he ended up like destroying his career and life at the end. But he is always one of my favorite players.
What happened when he left? Because I was really young when it happened. Uh, like how did he leave? Was it like the whole kind shit? Like
He
the
wanted more
pay and stuff.
money, and then so I think he ended up signing like he wanted like whatever I can't remember the numbers back then, but he wanted a deal. He signed a 2-year deal with San Francisco, but San Francisco, you're paying like the amount he was like he
What's in
didn't sign
Texas?
like a $20 million deal. He signed like a 2-year $5 million deal or something like that, right? So I'm like,
Hmm.
your rent in San Francisco is barely like you should have stayed in Arizona for like the 1-year deal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Um, and then I think he got like a DUI or something. He ended up getting kicked off the team. It just went badly. It went really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Darnell Dockett was that guy, dude. Just that defense alone. During our championship run, that was
Yeah.
yeah. That defense was crazy. But yeah, I'm thinking about throwing some jersey. So I was thinking about getting a like a hanger to like drill into the wall, and then I was gonna put like another banner, like a Suns banner, to kind of do the same thing. So I kind of have like jersey sections and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the first jersey I buy is the Darnell Dockett one, and probably get a Anquan Bolden. My dad has my Anquan Bolden, but I'll probably steal it from him next time I'm at his house.
Yeah.
But let's get into Andor, dude. Like I watched 4 episodes of it. It's really good, a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. Just lay it on me, uh, like how is it, and
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about it?
So Andor finished its first season, 12 episodes this Wednesday. Um, every episode I watch the show gets better. I'm like, oh, this is their best episode. And then maybe like minus like the episode 11, but like every episode, I'm like, this episode is better than the previous one. Um, you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to watch this show. You could just turn this show on and watch it and be like,
It
oh, this is
doesn't
a
feel
really
like a
cool
Star Wars
spy
show.
thriller. What's that?
It doesn't feel like a Star Wars
No, You're not gonna
sort of
you're
thing, which like. I think I like because I'm not into the whole Star Wars universe like that. So it's kind of nice seeing kind of like just real world sort of scenarios and stuff. A lot, it's a lot better to grasp, in my opinion.
I mean, there is like millions of hours of Star Wars content, which I've all consumed. And there's a lot of like, I go to this place and that place is a Jedi. There's a Sith Lord. There's none of that in this show. This show is about I'm in this. You're going to be in this town, Ferrix. The first you were in there for like the first 3 episodes. You're going to
Uh,
understand Ferrix, and guess what? You're going to go back to Ferrix, and you're going to be like blown away by what you see from that place. You go to this other place called Aldani, and you get to understand like the Star Wars universe is the Empire is trying to make everything into this like standardized place where the empire rules. But it's like, if you're an indigenous community and shots to the sons and all this shit, if you're an indigenous community and somebody comes in there and tries to make you formulate to like what they do, like this is what that show really encaptures is like, yeah, we're this other planet, we're this other city, community. You're trying to make us be this way, but we're not that. Like we're like our own people. And that's where the whole like struggle is like, between like being a community and fighting against the empire. And so, I Andor, I watched this show and I'm not gonna give any spoilers. I'm just gonna say this. Like, this is the best Star Wars live action show that they've made. This is in some of maybe not the best, if not like there's very few pieces of Star Wars content that's better than this because this is what I think all of us wanted Star Wars to be is to push it to a level of I mean there this like when you watch a show there people swear, people fuck, people take pisses. Like this is like normal stuff you see in movies and television shows, but you never see it in Star Wars. But you're gonna see it in the show.
uh,
Um, like people die, but they don't die in a nice way, where it's like, oh, blaster or whatever. It's like just some really, just like ordinary stuff that you see in movies, and you're like, man, that sucks. Like that guy died that way or that person died that way. The blasters feel real. It's not like A New Hope where people are shooting each other with blasters and it's like, oh, whatever. No, blasters hit people and they die and it looks painful and it moves them around. It's really similar to like Rogue One. So I would just tell anybody that even if you aren't a Star Wars fan, I would check out Rogue One because I think it might be the best television show of the year, be regardless of being Star Wars. But if I might be a little biased because I'm Star Wars, I'd still a top 10 show. Easily a
uh,
top 10 show.
that's dope because you really hyped it up. I'm like, yeah, like this fucking Star Wars geek is gonna like hype this shit up. Best thing he's seen.
Yeah.
And then like I sat down, I watched it. I was like, okay, first episode's cool. I mean, like my issue was just kind of like the silliness with Star Wars sometimes. Just like
Yeah.
and it like just this shows uh has been easy for me to grasp and just digest plot lines and characters and everything that's going on, and it helps to know like the empire and like reasoning and like all that shit. So um uh, I haven't made it to the heist yet. You kind of hyped up the heist a bit. I'll probably get into that tomorrow. But so far, for me, like 4 or 5 episodes in, it's a really, really good show, and it's one of the better ones I've seen in the last year. Like I was thinking about diving back into Walking Dead since it wrapped up. I still need to finish Better Call Saul. I watched the holiday special, the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. It's like 45 minutes. It's
Oh,
just
is
a
that out
holiday special.
already?
Yeah, it came out. I mean, it's a little cheesy and stuff, and but it was cute. It's a little
Yeah.
Christmas thing. They introduced Cosmo the dog. in there, and Kevin Bacon is in there as well.
Is there any
But
Howard the Duck?
no Howard the Duck. I was actually
Um,
I had a part of me that I was thinking that Howard the Duck was going to show up, but no. But no, it was cute. It was funny. Then it's not really a spoiler. They say it kind of like right away in the movie, but Yondu is sort of included in the movie as well. Just kind of like
that's cool.
reasoning behind the stuff, and Yondu is like the shit. But I like just recently I haven't been watching a bunch of shit, but like when I sat down and watched Andor, I was actually generally impressed, and after I finish Andor, I'm just gonna dive right back into Mandalorian and just work from there. And because everything that I've heard just from these TV shows in general, they've been really good and very on the nose with the storyline previous to it, and so like I'm definitely gonna be pushing
So, have
forward
you not
from
watched
it.
any other Star Wars TV shows?
No, so I put off
Okay.
Mandalorian because because I haven't watched Star Wars in X amount of time, and then what was the one after?
Boba Fett?
Yeah, it was Boba Fett, and then
Mm.
uh, then um, then it was Kenobi, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I just got so far, I got so
yeah.
fucking far behind that I was just like, I'll give up, whatever. I'm not gonna be on a podcast, and then what do you know? I end up on a podcast and I'm getting grilled to watch it. So, I'm gonna get into it. I heard Mandalorian's great, and plus Bill Burr is
No, there
in it,
look,
and I can want to see Bill Burr.
all those shows are great, okay? Like, for, like, a typical Star Wars fan, like, you can watch because you wanna know about Boba Fett, and now you got Baby Yoda or Grogu or whatever, spoiler alert, that's the name.
Right.
Um, you know, you got, it's just the Obi-Wan because everybody wanna see, like, the actual fight between, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, which is epic, but, uh, Andor is different because we know why all these guys are doing these things. Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, that's a fight that goes on. Um, Mandalorian, I mean, it's after Luke died. Boba Fett, everybody wants to see his character. There's a speech in one of the episodes by a character in in um in Andor, and it is pretty much the thesis statement as to why Star Wars exists, why this show Andor exists, why the rebellion exists, and it basically tells you it's like the greatest speech in any Star Wars thing you've ever seen. And the fucked up part is that they have in a span of like 4 to 5 scenes, they have like going from one episode to the next episode, they have about like 3 or 4 speeches that are like the best speeches you'll hear in Star Wars. Um, in this little TV show called Andor. So
Mhm.
I'm just saying, man, this show is something different. Um, and I keep telling people, I'm like, because it's not the same hype as an Obi-Wan, right, or a Boba Fett, but it is an entirely different show. The guy who created it is the guy who created Rogue One, and he's not even a fan of Star Wars. He just wanted to make a spy thriller, and but he did it in a way that ties in everything that's going on in the universe. So in the Star Wars universe. So it's amazing.
Oh, have you seen Wakanda Forever yet?
No, I have not.
No.
I've
Oh,
heard a lot of great things. I just, dude, I don't get to go to the theater that often.
yeah,
I don't even know if that's one of those ones I could take my son to. Um,
it's a
it's
long
a
one.
little bit more intense.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It is really
Yeah.
good. There's moments in the movie, especially like opening credits, like like your heart just stops, and I'm not gonna spoil it or anything because I want you to
Yeah.
experience that. But yeah, dude, like they really ran with it, and Mbaku was amazing. And you and I were skeptical about Sherry and stuff, with
Yeah.
the whole Black Panther situation, and the comics were leaning towards it anyway. And I think she did a phenomenal job. Um, the the Talokan people were intimidating and beautiful and relatable as hell, and
Yeah.
it was really dark at points with upbringing, especially through Namor and like his upbringing, and this isn't really a spoiler, but he is sort of the first one in a Marvel movie to refer to himself as a mutant. So that's huge going
Mm.
forward if if you've read comics and all that shit. Uh, and that will make him the oldest because he's been around since the 1500s, Namor. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for him to address himself as a mutant is pretty big. But yeah, M'Baku is great. The Queen is phenomenal. Like very Oscar worthy performance and stuff. Real true emotion. And this movie has great one liners, dude. Like Namor is fucking ruthless, and like
Is it better than
when
what are those? Is it better than
oh,
that?
oh, oh yeah, like it's barely jokey, and like the jokes that they do have are they do land. They're really funny, and and they kind of catch you off guard. But there's very few. The fight scenes are incredible. The tech is
Yeah.
great, and Riri gets introduced in this movie as well, Ironheart, and she's going to be getting her own series down the line. But she was great as well. Just like this whole movie was phenomenal, and me and my girl, we left the movie just in awe and how it was
Yeah.
portrayed, and the Mexican Aztecian culture incorporated with Wakanda African culture. It just merged so beautifully, and I'm so glad they did it the way that they did, despite the big question marks, like how they were going to move on from Chadwick, and how if they were going to recast them or
Yeah.
just play into it and stuff. And I think how they did it was not only brilliant, but it was very necessary. But definitely the best movie in Phase Four, Phase Five, like whatever it is. It's Phase Four, but it's going to be a great segue not only for uh, the series because like I definitely feel like there's going to be another Black Panther movie down the line, but just for Marvel in general, this was a big milestone movie, and it's going to be remembered for a very long time.
Cool, man. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
Let's
when
get
you
out of
see it,
here.
yeah, definitely let me know. Yeah. I'm getting fucking tired. But thank you again, everybody, for joining. Happy Thanksgiving. Suns win. Hopefully, the Cardinals win tomorrow. Yeah, just this is the time of year. Spend time with your family. Despite the distance, see them whenever you can because it's huge. Like after having my Thanksgiving, I know I need to be around my family a lot more. I'm very secluded. I like being in my little
Yeah.
bubble, so you need to burst it. But we're gonna be aiming for some after dark stuff anytime during next week. Things are starting to straighten out when it comes to scheduling. Evan is still working hard. He's gonna be here soon. Eventually, we're gonna hold down the fort going forward. Um, we're gonna keep y'all in touch with any updates, but as of right now, it's just me and Amit and any guest that comes on. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We'll stay in touch and no outro. We're just gonna cut it here. Ahmed, have a blessed night.
These
Have a
guys.
strong week. Kick the flu, and just hit it home. Go Suns, man. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. Peace.